Ms. Hopkins, how are you?
Hey, Dr. B. Coates, the PowerPoint from last night is not up on the Reopening Schools site.
Ms. Hoff, I redirected it to, I put a page under the school board. I'll put it under the reopening schools right now as we speak. But if you go to your school board tab under committee meetings, both
Oh,
presentations and the
okay.
video are right there. The
Okay.
video and the presentation will be there, but I'll add it to the page as well.
Yeah, I just think that it could live in both, in my opinion, it could live in both places
Understood.
because it's all about reopening.
Good evening, Mrs. Henry. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing well, thank you.
Good.
It's telling them about our lovely visit today at the high school.
Yeah, it was great.
It was actually better with nobody in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised to say.
Good evening, Ms. Henry.
Hi.
All right, it's 6:31. We can, oh, you're waiting for me to get started. Sorry. Hi, everyone. This evening, I'm going to be leading the meeting. Mr. Wright has an issue at home, and he asked me to lead. So thank you all for being here. I will turn it over to Mr. B. Coates, Dr. B. Coates or Mr. Conley for the PowerPoint.
Sure, I'll just open this up. I just wanted to let the board know, as well as thank the 7 attendees that we have in this session. We have had conversation over the past month and a half regarding the processes that we use to, if you will, hire staff. And so we spent some time actually documenting what those processes are. And tonight, I wanted to ask Mr. Conley to provide the board with an update. These documents at the appropriate time will be placed on our website. We will also share this information with our staff so that everyone is clear on the procedures and processes that we utilize for hiring staff. So Mr. Conley, I want to ask you to take it from here, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. B. Coates. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Thanks, Warren. Yes, Dr. B. Coates, I mentioned, we have in the past developed some policies or practices around our recruiting and hiring. But Dr. B. Coates and I met, and we wanted to expand these policies and get them more categorized and in a little more detail. And when we look at the staff in our school district and most school districts, we can break the employee base into 3 different groups: administrative staff, classified staff, and professional staff. And that would probably cover most of the employees in our school district. So under the recruiting and hiring procedures, again, I took some of the information I had in previous documents, but expanded it. And we have 3 areas here. Again, if you highlight any of the 3 red areas, it will take you into the document. The documents for each of these areas are approximately 7 or 8 pages. Under the administrative staff, people would say, what does that encompass? And basically that group of people would be the principals, directors, supervisors. The term professional in school districts refers to the teachers, what the professional staff, again, in the teachers union, in the William Penn School District, as we know, guidance counselors, the school nurses fall under the professional staff category, our school psychologists, speech therapists, the occupational therapists. So any of the specialists also in the William Penn School District, and most districts in Pennsylvania fall under the bargaining unit. So they're under the professional staff. And then for lack of a better term, we use the final categories, classified staff, which would be our instructional assistants, school safety officers, secretaries, and any other positions that would either be in the support staff contract or would be outside of that particular contract. So those would be the three main categories that we developed for distinction as far as employees in the district. And if you wanted to just go into one, let's start with administrative staff. If I could open that up. Again, when you hit those bullets, it opens up. And again, as I said, these are about 7 or 8 pages, and taking you through the, I mean, I could just do the first one in general because it's somewhat very similar, probably a little more detailed for the administrative and for the teaching staff, but just a background on the overall process and procedures, talking about job descriptions that we would have on file. Next point about where we're going to advertise for a position for the William Penn School District. And again, there's a formal application packet that internal and external applicants are required to apply online. And this was something that we had spoken about and that Dr. Becoats felt very strongly about, which I think is a great point, that we really want everyone, internal or external, to apply through our website, through the processes. Because in the past, sometimes people have just sent me a resume directly through email and haven't gone through the process. So we're tightening up that process, as well as all the paperwork that's required. We have a new process in our onboarding with a school recruiter. There's a new section called records that we're using, and it's very appropriate with everything being virtual. But for a new hire coming into the district, once he or she is in process, we will send them everything online. Everything comes back to us online, and then we build a virtual file for the new candidate. So that's just an aside. So this would be all the essential paperwork that would be required for a new hire for administrative non-exempt. And walking through again, retention of the applicants, we keep, and everything will be housed in human resources. If we have the schools doing the interviews, the principal maintains the records, maintains the scoring sheets, and all that information is audited and sent back and kept in human resources for proper record keeping purposes. So again, tightening all that processes up. Screening for professional, again, this is in the professional category, professional applicants, what we would require for someone applying for a certificate position, a teaching position in the district. And again, this is a lot of detail. The interview process, going through the particulars on the process, who's setting up interviews, the HR department's involvement, the building's involvement, et cetera. So that goes through that. And then, of course, our process, we'd have a first round interview for positions, and again, indicating who may be on the committees for these positions. Second round interviews, who would be involved in those positions, and parental student input, which we may have on some second round interviews, and some perhaps a superintendent meeting, maybe that's not the right term, interview, but superintendent meeting with the candidates. And the superintendent then would recommend candidates to the Board of School Directors for formal approval. And then sometimes, as I noted, for these some professional positions, that at the direction of the superintendent, the board may be involved in participating in some of those positions. And then we check references, and the person is credential checks. HR is the only department that can offer employment, recommendations for hire, approval of the superintendent, and then of course the board approves everyone for approval. The final official vote of approval is the Board of School Directors. And then just beginning employment when the people start, paperwork, et cetera. So we try to get maybe, I'm not sure if it's too much detail, but the process just to go over where we're starting out recruiting, what the interview teams would look like, what the process would look like, And that was for administrative staff, professional staff, classified staff, very similar processes and very similar procedures for each of those areas. So again, I think if I don't want to go through the documents in detail, but just that first one, just to give people an idea of what we're looking for, how we're expanding certain responsibilities, certain requirements, so that we can, after discussion, can place these for, on a website, and so people can see, here's our processes for these 3 different areas of employment. So I kind of went through that a little quickly. If anyone has any, questions or.
I will be honest enough to say that I need to take some time in the next coming days to review those documents. That all went really fast. And I do apologize if I was supposed to pre-look at them, but
No.
Time was not afforded to me today. Does any other board members have any questions?
Yeah, this is Joy.
Hi, Joy.
So I have the question I have is, so I hear we're going digital, and are you also reviewing references digitally, or is that still going to be done through phone calls and paperwork?
No, we would still, at this point, Joy, do references through phone calls. We think that's the most effective way at this point. There's a process where we might be able to still do a digital or a online reference check, but I think we would like to do reference checks for three reference checks usually for most candidates, and we think that it's still worth time to call and speak to to the references or the supervisor directly.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Board members?
Ms. Huff, I think one of the things that we may do is just to give all board members the opportunity to look through the documents, we may consider having a follow-up or an opportunity for follow-up maybe in the month of September, just to make sure that before we actually post these procedures, everyone is on board, just given the timing.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Hearing nothing from the school board directors, attendees, do you have anything to share? You can put it in chat, or you can just raise your hand. Ms. Dungy, can you, Mr. Cuff? You're on, Ms. Dungy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
We can.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I actually was calling for a bit of clarification. Yesterday during the meeting, it was understood that teachers are able to opt to work from the building or to opt to work from home. At that point, I think I even sent a chat like thanking the decision, but I did not recognize the distinction between teachers, school counselors, social workers, and nurses. And so today I did find out that counselors, social workers, and nurses are to report to the building. I was a bit confused because I know we're in the same bargaining unit, and I have been working diligently this summer to make sure that I'm able to perform my job, not adequately, but exceptionally well, to make sure that I'm serving, my students and the community of Walnut Street and Colwyn Elementary School. And I just wanted to put it out there that it's, to me, separating members of the same bargaining unit, and that I believe that if it's not safe for every teacher to go in, that there are times where it may not be safe for counselors or social workers to go in. I live in a multi-generational home. I have a 9-year-old son. I'm immunocompromised myself. I've done everything that the district asked. I filled out the survey. I sent an email, and I've heard that, I will be hearing back from someone, but this is very stressful to go to sleep thinking, okay, the district is considering that I'm also a professional as my colleagues are, and that I will have the option to work from home during this period. And then to find out that I'm not, it's just very stressful. I just want to put it out there and hope that there's some consideration for allowing us to have the same option. I know that you can't make a decision right now, but I just wanted to bring some awareness to it.
Thank you for sharing that information, and we will definitely take that under advisement. I just want to clarify one statement. We've never said that it's not safe to go into the building, so I just want to clarify that. We did ask that question of the medical expert or health official, and it was never stated that it's not safe for people to go into the building. So I just want to make sure that we clarify that statement. But I do appreciate you sharing that information.
Thank you.
Sure.
I accept that distinction as well, but I feel emotional. I want to live. I want to make sure that I can raise this child. I'm a single parent. I feel emotional, but I need to live to raise him. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ines.
Any other attendees have anything to share this evening? Thank you, Ms. Dungy. Okay, seeing none and checking the chat again. I think we can, is there anything else? Did I sign up for a quick meeting today? Cause I'm good.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. See that? This is one you should have signed up for. Okay, well, in my normal sign off, mask up, wash up. We have no one to spare. Be healthy, and we'll see you and talk to you all soon.
I'm sorry. I got one more question. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Okay, Ms. Hopkins.
Do we have anyone, since we're doing personnel meeting, do we have anyone that we're looking at, any hiring or anything that we need to discuss?
We will be sending you our recommendation for 2 assistant principals, one at the middle school and one at the high school on Thursday.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have a great evening.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks.
Good night.
Thanks, Warren.